Hello and welcome to Module 7 of the Rural and Frontier Local Board of Health New Member Toolkit. If you haven't already done so, please be sure to review Modules 1 through 6. Again, my name is Valerie Quape and I'm presenting on behalf of the University of Nevada at Reno and the Nevada Public Health Training Center. In this module, we will build upon previous discussions of community health needs assessments and will explore the next step, community health improvement planning. From today's discussion, you will be better able to describe the purpose of community health improvement plans, also called CHIPs, and will be able to describe the role that local boards of health may play in the development and implementation of a community health improvement plan. So, what is a community health improvement plan? It is a long-term systemic plan to address issues identified in the tribal, state, or community health assessment. So then what is the purpose? The purpose of the Community Health Improvement Plan is to describe how the health department and the community it serves will work together to improve the health of the population of the jurisdiction that the health department serves. So who should you include in your improvement planning processes? We're going to go back to our previous diagram. You should be including all of the members of your local public health system in your community health improvement planning process that were also included in the assessment. What you're going to find is that there will be additional organizations that you might want to bring into the fold when you're delegating authority and delegating resources out to actually address a lot of these issues as well. So what should a CHIP include? The CHIP committee should be sure to identify a broad set of community health goals. When doing so, it is important that the CHIP committee considers what would the community look like if optimal health was achieved for all community members. Let this vision be a guide in your planning processes. From here, what would need to change in your community to achieve that vision? And the information you gathered in your CH&A should be the basis of your planning processes. You will want to focus on remedying gaps in services and negative themes identified by stakeholders and community members. After the community health goals have been identified, you must then specify measurable objectives that your CHIP group wants to achieve. These objectives should be measurable in terms of some sort of number. So this could look like a % increase or decrease in a specific health indicator, or a change in numbers. Examples might include increasing the percentage of students entering high school with all appropriate vaccinations by 10%, or decreasing the number of opioid overdoses in the community. Remember to be specific as to what you want to change. This will make it a lot easier to measure changes over time. It's also important to ensure that the changes you specify are time-bound. Given our immunization example, do you want to see that 10% increase in 1 year, 2 years, maybe 3? Be sure to include timelines in your objectives. Ultimately, you want to write objectives that aren't too general. Remember that some is not a number and soon is not a time, since both of those words could mean different things to different people. Your CHIP should include the activities and performance measures you will use to meet your objectives. Completing this component of the plan as a cohesive group with other stakeholders is really where the magic happens. Discussion of these activities may help build partnerships that previously didn't exist and allow for the sharing of resources. Your activity should indicate who is responsible for implementing the program or activity, as well as outline the specific actions to be taken. Will a class be implemented that educates parents and students on vaccinations? Will pop-up immunization clinics be offered at schools? Be sure to include brief but specific information about what is going to be done to address the issue. And finally, what other stakeholders and partner organizations are going to be involved in these activities? For example, if a local hospital offers to hold pop-up immunization clinics at a middle school, then the school district should be listed as a partner, as well as any other organizations that might be included in the planning, marketing, and implementation of the activity or program. Finally, how will you know if you've succeeded? The performance measures you pick will indicate any changes affected by your activities. Not sure what your performance measures are? Well, oftentimes they are the health indicators you specified in your measurable objective. With our previous immunization example, that would include that 10% increase in complete vaccination among students upon entering high school. So, with all the work that goes into creating a CHIP, what can you do to be sure that a difference is actually made? First of all, it's important to carefully plan the strategies and activities that you plan to take on. Try to consider how a strategy would affect different groups within your community. If possible, look for examples of successful strategies from other communities that are similar to yours. Although it may seem overly time-consuming at points, be sure that the meetings and activities of your CHIP workgroup are well documented. Having documentation on hand, such as meeting notes, reports, and data collected, are vital when trying to measure the successes of activities, or when trying to bring new partners up to speed as they join the group. When collecting data to monitor your programs and activities, it's important to do so consistently. By that, we mean that it should be collected at regular, predetermined intervals, as well as collected the same way each time. This helps protect the validity of the data itself. In Module 9, we'll discuss program evaluation and quality improvement, but be sure to incorporate evaluation into the design of your programs. You want to be sure that you are both doing the right things, meaning implementing programs that make the changes to community health that you're looking for, as well as that you're doing things right, meaning that you are implementing things as planned, or not. If your activities to improve teenage vaccination rates are planned one way and then implemented another, you can't contribute any positive or negative changes seen to the activities you had planned if you changed the way that they were implemented. It's very common that a program is started and needs to change, in which case, change it. Just be sure to document those changes and communicate them to others. In regular updates to the CHIP itself. This is why a CHIP document should be updated on at least an annual basis. And since we already know that community health status changes over time, use the next CHNA as an opportunity to build your next CHIP, where you will celebrate and build upon previous successes, take on new challenges that your community is now facing, and perhaps table some issues that either no longer need attention or may be out of reach for the group of partner organizations involved in the CHIP. So, what do you do with a CHIP? Since you have previously completed a community health needs assessment to identify your community's overall health status and programmatic gaps to build the CHIP, it's then time for the LBOH to build its own strategic plan that stems from the CHIP itself. We'll discuss strategic plans in Module 8. The actions taken by the Board of Health or Health Department from a strategic plan should be evaluated on a regular basis to identify areas for improvement as well as successes. And be sure to remember that each of these steps feeds back up to the one previous to it, and in the end, affects overall community health. Okay, let's review some of the points we've discussed today. First, the purpose of a CHIP is to bring together a broad group of stakeholders who can work together to improve the health of your community. The focus of your CHIP should be to address the themes and disparities found in the community health needs assessment process. The CHIP is a living document that changes and evolves over time with the ebb and flow of resources, opportunities, and the needs of the community. Because of this, the CHIP should be updated on a regular basis, preferably at least annually, if not quarterly. Ultimately, the CHIP is the basis for the strategic plan of either the board itself or of the local health department if one has been established in the community. Want more information? The National Association of County and City Health Officials, or NACCHO, has a great deal of examples as to how to build a community health improvement plan. The Public Health Accreditation Board's standards and measures outline points and processes that should be included in the development of a high-quality CHIP. The Community Guide offers lists of best, promising, and emerging practices that can be used to help you design your community strategies to improve health. The health topics included are very broad and range from what has worked to address adolescent health all the way over to worksite wellness. Another great resource to check out is What Works? Strategies to Improve Rural Health, published by the County Health Rankings. This list is not exhaustive, but provides a good place to start looking for resources to help you on your way to building a healthier community. Thank you for completing Module 7. Please be sure to complete Modules 8 and 9 to receive more information about how local boards of health can work with their resources to create community change through comprehensive planning and improvement cycles. If you have any questions about this module, please contact the Nevada Public Health Training Center.